Good morning, trippers. Today is Sunday the 16th of April. We've woken well rested after a decent feed at the pub and some pool last night, which was great to just relax in our mind after such a massive day. Nice hot showers done, and we're ready to move on to our next destination, which we're hoping will hit our camp at Coober Pedy by some time later today, and we'll see where that ends up taking us. Okay, catch you after. We've arrived at Coober Pedy, and our friends need to fill up their water tanks, and we've come to the paid water dispenser that you can use here, facility, potable water. We don't need to necessarily fill up, but seeing we're here, we will. And what we found, according to the WikiCamps app, the actual payment machine there is broken. It's only $1 for every 30 litres that you use. So what the sign has asked is once you fill up, if you can go next door to the council building here and pay for your water, which being a Sunday, I'm not sure if they're open, so we will go over after we finished here and go and try and pay for the water that we fill. And this is how you do it in Coober Pedy anyway. Hello.
How are you?
Good. Am I allowed to video in here? Can I video in here?
Yes.
My mum loves opals.
Oh.
So she'll love this. Wow.
Hello.
Oh. Look at that.
And that one. Oh yeah, that's nice. Oh, is that an opal?
Yeah.
I've never seen opal
In the
that
rock.
looks like this.
Look at that, Charles.
Oh, imagine if you polish it.
Mm.
I didn't know that was opal. It's
Beautiful.
like red.
Couldn't have timed that more perfectly.
I know, that's what I'm like. I've seen people walking in and take the camera. Let's stuff it out. Try my best.
Did well.
Thank you. So, hello, how are you? So you will come and pay. Let's see. Just here, tidy up. Oh, yes, you will be a tour guide.
shop.
Oh, that's all right.
Thanks. Just make it a custom
Plenty
so
must
I
come
can
before.
if you're a bit tall. Alright, we can all just squeeze in here. I know we're not too big of a group. Should be right. Maddie, mind your head back there. All good. Yeah, so what do you think? The old 1920s home here? Pretty cute. Small?
Small.
Yeah, little A. Yeah, so you can see by the irregular shaped walls, pick marks, it was all dug out by hand. So same with mining in the early days. It was pick and shovel, a lot of hard work. Maybe a few explosives here and there as well. So used to be able to buy them from the supermarket here. Yeah. Even the Catholic Church dug out by hand, and a few explosive holes in there. Kind of funny. Yes. So in the movie, you've seen the young boy Willie Hutchison. He found the first opal in 1915, and then 1915, 16, people came here in search of our gem, and they soon realised from there it was a lot more comfortable, more practical to live underground. And the main reason was due to lack of trees in the area, so no building materials, you see. And of course another reason is because of our extreme temperatures and natural thermal heating and cooling underground. So in the winter we can get down to -2 in the night time. In the day it's, you know, a bit more mild, nice. In the summer we can get up to mid-40s, even have hit 50 degrees, so it's bloody hot. Underground it is 20 to 24 degrees all year round, so it's quite comfortable. This is natural, no heating or cooling needed. And you save in building materials too. We're pretty lucky. Our sandstone, it's compacted, and the gypsum acts as the binding agent, so it holds together quite well without needing to add any support, you see. And you can imagine when they first come here to mine for opal, they might even live in a part of their mine, so enough space to sleep and keep their belongings. And this whole museum is an original mine from the 20s right up through to the early 70s. So this is the old dugout part of it. But imagine it would have been tough. The old lanterns here, carbide lanterns, we're off the power grid here, we're in the middle of nowhere. It was quite hard in those times. Water, they had to travel to a bore 65 kilometres northeast to Coober Pedy. In the early days, camels would bring it back, so they reckon a bucket would last the early miners a week. So yeah, and even after that, there's not much showering going on, eh? A lot of recycling. Even in the 50s, you know, trucks were still transporting water to the town. 60s, they tried to put a desalination plant in, pumping water from 100 metres under the ground, but had trouble with it. It was the 80s when we had running town water here. So that's when the reverse osmosis desalination plant was built. So our water comes from an aquifer off the Great Artesian Basin. So it gets the salts removed. Our water's expensive. Yeah. But it's good drinking water, right? Sometimes. We have water problems. Alright, follow me this way. We used to have this carpet in our dugout back in the day. It's all the rage in Coober Pedy. One roll in town, you know. Now we have tile floors. Wow. This is the modern way of life. Yeah. We got Netflix, Wi-Fi, Starlink. Yeah, we get there in the end. Get mobile reception underground, just got to get your boosters. No walking down the road now. Some people do, you like, you know, you got reception in here? No. Yeah. Yeah, so about 70% of the population live underground, so it's quite nice. This is how the modern dugout looks. It's all done by machinery, and it's the same machinery that we use in opal mining as well, and that didn't come in till about the 70s, 80s here in Coober Pedy. And in the town they used to mine through here, so underneath us all around there's tunnels that extend everywhere from the early miners. They stopped the mining in the town when the machinery come in because of the dust pollution, and also another problem was people did start tunnelling into people's homes accidentally. Yes, and it still does happen. Yeah, they're like, no more mining in the town now. We have freehold of the land in town where we live, lease the land out on the field where you'd mine for opal. Yeah, but the poor hairdresser moved here last year with her husband. The neighbour was illegal mining, so her husband woke up, he sees his wife covered in dust, half passed out still, you know, and he's seen a hole appear in the wall, and it was the neighbour coming through, so he chased him through the wall. You hear about Brian? Yeah, Brian. Yeah. Whole town knew in a day, see? Yeah, but the council hasn't mapped out, the tunnels just go everywhere, so it's pretty wild. Yeah. Yeah, but you know, people like a hotel here put some rooms in, stumbled across 1.2 million, so.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Maybe a sneaky way of not mining in the town is extending your home. Yeah, so you need council approval though, and 4 metres between you and the neighbours. Yeah. Yeah, so there's a man, he has 21 rooms in his dugout. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, so he's apparently selling that one and 2 other homes for 750,000 or something, so that's pretty cheap, you know. On average, 60,000 for a home, 64,000, 200,000, 250,000, you know, it's getting more steep for a nice dugout, so yeah, people don't want to pay 300,000.
Wow.
So it's pretty good. Yeah, cheapest real estate in Australia, I think. So what we do when building homes, we excavate the face of a hill, we're on ground level, you come in, this is a square tunnelling machine, and then there's a round tunnelling machine there as well. So they're both smaller machines. With the square you would complete the top section first. They roughly move through 2 metres of earth an hour, something like that. You do the top half and the second half later. The round tunnelling machine, teeth go in a circular motion, maybe 60 centimetres of earth an hour. But some people have round hallways, looks cool. Want to put your shelf in, look, you can. At home we have a horse, we had an underground stable, we used to keep ponies in, like, yeah, there's a chook coop, we have a coop in the hill, we dug a hole at the back, like whatever. You can be creative. You don't get much wider than this space without having support earth in, because you don't want, remember you have a lot of weight overhead of you, so make sure you have your support walls in, don't get too much bigger. And then we put a sealer on the walls as well. You can see there, a varnish. Keeps the dust at bay, moisture out. And then electricity, we can tack it or hide it. We've got our wind turbine farm, your solar plant, and diesel generators for power. Yeah. 120 million our power plant cost apparently. Pretty expensive, aren't you? Lovely dust storm here. Oh. I feel like I'm at a home opening. Nice fridge, you know, open kitchen, ventilation. No, our wet areas, kitchen and bathrooms, always at the face of the hill, because our plumbing, you want it to be easily accessed if anything bursts. We don't want really flooding in our home because it can retain the water, the sandstone. Yes, so we keep the wet areas at the front. And at home we have a grey water shaft and a septic shaft with a pump, so sort of how that works. Come forward, I'll show you the ventilation. So you'll see all the pipes sticking out of the hills, your air shafts. It gives you an idea people are living in the hill. Yeah. So, feel a bit of airflow maybe. Little bit.
Oh, no.
No, look, you do. It regulates the temperature. No, so basically, you want people like maybe 1 per 2 rooms, or they say at least 2 per home. But it's a hole drilled through to the surface, and then you want some inner casing to go through 1/2 metre past the surface at least. Should stop your rocks, maybe wildlife dropping in. Maybe you want to put a whirligig on top. Naughty kids play on the hills.
Little kids chucking rocks.
Yeah, chucking rocks down Rose Temple's shaft in her home. Yeah, I know. My best mate lives on the other side of the hill. She used to drop letters down my air shaft in my room. So, and a Christmas present one year. Aww. And Santa's got to come down air shafts too, right? Not many fireplaces here. Follow me. You don't need them. It's like warm, you know. Yeah, I know. Isn't it lovely? We're the magic habits.
Lovely. Nothing to see.
You'll get the best shot when I turn the lights off on yous, right? See how dark it gets. Have you slept underground? No?
Yes, we did in the underground park.
Yeah.
In a tent.
I love underground camping.
Yeah,
Reavers.
that's it. Yeah.
William Creek way.
Yeah.
Roger that. All right, here we are, the lovely bedroom suite. You can see it's all dug by hand, this one. Bedside tables too, because you can. Few explosive holes, just because, you know. You put your alarm clock on there, so then you don't sleep all day. You do have the best sleep underground. When you wake up, you have no perception of what time it is. Could be 2 in the morning or 2 in the afternoon, and then you've slept most of the day accidentally. You go outside, you're like, oh, it's raining. Yeah, but it's so quiet as well. But if you like, I can turn the lights off on you. Are you alright with that? Yeah? Alright, I'll shut this door. Who's ready? Alright, on 3, you're going to switch them off. So 1, 2, 3. There we go. Ooh. How's the filming going now?
Yeah.
And we're on. But it's very nice, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. So, any questions so far? Like underground living? It's all right?
Yeah.
Not too bad?
Pretty cool.
Electric, yeah, pretty cool. We got the nice electricity cables. They got a bit more, you know, creative here as well. Just cause. Yeah, so if you like, we'll go down into the mine. It's 15 steps down there. They're steeper than your average step. Uneven too, so please just be careful. There's a handrail if need be, and there's some uneven ground just below. But you're all comfortable heading down? That's cool. It's pretty cool. What about Greg? Oh, Greggy.
Oh.
Yeah. I know, he's been working hard. He's a bit tuckered out.
Just hanging around.
He's just hanging around, yes. The good hanging.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Some people are like, oh, gosh, you know, freak out. I better let him scream. Just get the crap out of me, wonder. And you know, you worry about, like, you know, I talk about wildlife dropping down shafts.
Yeah.
I was on tour here a month ago, and I'm like literally here, 5 minutes, and a beardy dragon drops down, and I'm like, it was like right on cue. I was a bit knocked out. Took it on tour. Came to. At least it wasn't a King Brown or anything.
Yeah.
Ooh, but yeah, we're like 15 metres roughly deep here.
The whole mate's still there.
Yeah, he's still there. Greg, give him a name. Same old swing we used today. Runs off the back of the old mining. Yeah. And there's another 15 metre shaft below, more tunnels under here too. Yeah, so it just keeps getting further down. Yeah, so 50 years mining through here, would have found a bit of opal. However, there's no real record of how much opal was found in Coober Pedy. Because it is all individual miners. No large companies mine for opal here. They made a rule, 1 person per claim, every person gets a fair go. So you're the boss, you work when you like, maybe work in partnerships of 2 or 3 because it's hard work and safety reasons. It's a bit of a gamble finding opal, it's not guaranteed. Maybe you don't have much luck for a few months or a year or so. Or maybe you're on a really good wicket, but then you don't tell anyone. Yeah, they're real secretive about it. You worry people come and work on your claim maybe when you're not there. Night shifters, we call them. Yeah. Early days they might even camp out there with a rifle. My stepdad, the first bloke he met was Machine Gun Joe, and how did he get that nickname? Yeah, so he took it. Yeah, imagine it was real Wild West in those days. No policing until about the 80s or after, so yeah. Pretty wild times. Party, Coober Pedy was too. Yeah, so the miners, right? So what they want to do, they want to sink a shaft. They want to find these fault lines in the wall here. So this is the opal level here. See here? and there's another level here too. The opal level ranges anywhere from 90 centimetres deep down to 28, 30 metres is our depth we go. Now, opal is made up of silica or silica spheres at between 6 to 20% water, and we are an ancient seabed, so the sea sand was rich in the silica, so that and perfect conditions helped with our formation of opal. So when the inland sea all receded, the sand hardened, the water, it dissolves the silica out, travels through fault lines, finds cavities in the earth wherever they may be, where it's filled, and that's where the opal is formed. But there's two types. There's the precious opal, and there's a larger deposit of non-precious opal, potch. Have you heard of potch? It's colourless opal. With any opal, we want the colour, don't we? Yeah, so what they do, they want to sink a shaft, find this fault line, and then that's when these drives come in. They want to chase it and hopefully find that Seymour pocket, and then we want the really good stuff. But imagine early days doing this all by hand, so it would have been quite tough lifestyle. The old lanterns too, you know, carbide lanterns, the early days. You'd be digging all the tunnels out by hand. Explosives would have helped as well. You'd extract the opal, and of course all the excess mullock, the leftover sandstone, would all be bucket winched or hand winched up and then dumped on the surface, so hard work. But who's to say there's not a $10,000 parcel halfway in this wall? You know, you could pull the pegs up, give up in a spot, next person goes in, continues on, hits the jackpot. Does happen, so might as well have a hit on the pokies. It's like gambling, but you never know your luck.
Yeah.
All right, any questions? All good? There's more to learn. Follow me this way. Mind your heads. This is a low patch, but it opens up. We're going to the ballroom. Yeah, they reckon they found $1 million in here, but everything's hearsay.
Allegedly.
Yeah, they like the old cash deal as well, you know. They reckon the Coober Pedy Bank had some of the largest deposits of cash, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And now it's gone.
Yeah. Yes. Wow.
And here we are, the modern side. Wait for everyone to come through. All good back there? Yeah, we might look for slides as well. You can see there's on an angle there too. They reckon at the belly of them found like a cluster of shells possibly there, but yeah, so you can't go down the fault line too. Alright, so here we are in the modern side of mining. So you can see our opal fields out here. It's roughly 5,000 square kilometres. So Australia has the best gem quality opal, but Coober Pedy is known to have one of the richest opal fields. But what we mostly find is light opal here. So you'll see mostly milky body tone opal with colour, crystal opal. Little bit rarer, has more of a translucent body tone. Crystal's my favourite, I love it. I'm wearing a bit now. Nice brilliant colour there. And the rarest opal we find is black opal. It's maybe 5% of black opal we find here. More in Lightning Ridge, they find it there. So say you want to be a miner. Technically anyone can be an opal miner if you really wanted to. You go to the TAFE here, you want to get your precious stones prospecting permit, and it's about $95 roughly. If you're using the big machinery, or you find an area, you want to stake your claim, there's different claim sizes. There's a 50 by 50 metre claim, a 50 by 100 metre claim, and a 200 by 100 metre claim. So you can lease them for a 3 or 6 month or a year period lease. So the smallest one for a year is $200 roughly. The largest one is about $500 roughly. Yeah, so you go to the TAFE, well, they're the pegs that you get there with your permit on there. Should get a map of the field, see the active claims where they're out there. There's populations decrease. There's less than 100 miners roughly out there today, so as opposed to a few thousand in the 80s, 90s here. So yeah, plenty of space. Yeah. Yes. So what we could do, there's like smaller holes out there. It's like an investigator drill. They could pull up material. Maybe they look for traces. Or there is the Cardwell drill here. This is a main drill, sinks the big shaft like the one back there. We might hire this one out. It costs about $800 to $1,000 to sink a shaft like back there. And it should take 4 to maybe 6 hours depending on the ground. So then from there, we're going to start with the drives, chasing the fault lines. That's when we send down the tunnelling machine. So we can use a square tunnelling machine all round. I suppose it's just what you got really, hey? So either. But you'll see Yanni, his dad George there. They're just setting it up. Yanni's going to start driving the machine. Just moves through a little bit of sandstone at a time. And they're always watching out with their lights, lanterns, seeing if they see anything in the wall. If they see anything, you would stop that machine and still extract or pick by hand. You don't want to destroy the opal with the teeth on that machine as well. So, anyone seen this machine around? The old Coober Pedy invention. We've got some bush mechanics. It looks like something out of Mad Max, doesn't it? It was an Italian mechanic in the 60s, Mario, come up with this idea. He came to Coober Pedy and he noticed the sandstone was lighter, it could be sucked up. So the blower is like a giant vacuum. It sucks out all the excess mullock. So you can see the casing goes down, you can extend however far you want it, and that sucks out all that mullock. And even attach it to the tunnelling machine there. Yeah, a lot easier than doing it by hand. Yeah, and then after that you had other miners, other locals build their own versions, you see, so yeah. Another great use for the machine is it can draw out any toxic fumes from explosives as well. So miners can use, work in underground in larger claims, as long as they're out of the way, set them off, and that draws out the fumes as well. So pretty cool. Or my friend's brother, he's just a bit more wild. He just lights a fire at the bottom of the shaft and one up the top, and it draws out the fumes. He's like, all right, we're going to set off explosives. That's Max. It's just funny, Jonesy. He's successful though. No, he does all right. Yeah, so from there, you know, you can be on a good claim. If not, it becomes more of an expensive hobby. Imagine diesel prices. You know, I mean, they get a bit of discounted fuel and that. But you can lose 10% of opal in the leftover mullock heaps. So that's where you go noodling, fossicking through the heaps. The cheapest way is $75 blacklight, no fuel prices. See opal glows? Well, you can find a fortune maybe, you know. People do, locals do go blacklighting through the heaps. We don't just send anyone out there though, because it's very dodgy out there, right? Okay, shafts everywhere. And you get in trouble if you're caught on someone's claim. Yeah, that's it. No. Yeah, so another way to sort through the mullock heaps down here is a noodling machine. So it is like a little dark room, a box room. It's got ultraviolet light in there, a big one, your belt in there, and outside attached is like a big tumbler, your bin. So you need someone on a loader, they dump the mullock in the bin, and then it goes through the process, removes most of the dust, and the smaller, heavier stuff will end up in the dark room. The other person is in there, you're monitoring, you're watching everything that comes past, and then you grab anything that glows, pretty much, yeah. Dodge the odd scorpion. I got one over there, I'll show you, they glow too. Brought it from home. Yeah, so you can do maybe mining. Some people can mine this way as well, excavating as well. Yeah, so there's different ways around it. Any questions? No? Want to be miners? No. Dad loves it, you know, go out the field, put some beers in his esky, you know, no one's to tell him what to do. It's a different way of life, no boss really hanging over your shoulder, and you never know your luck. And sometimes you find something you've never seen before, and then you can't wait to get home and clean it up and see what's in there. Like, it's all, yeah, a bit of a thrill. And we find opalized fossils too. We're an ancient seabed, so shells, cuttlefish spine, the belemnite. One of the real expensive pieces or best pieces found here was the Virgin Rainbow. It was a fossil, 1.2 million.
Wow.
Another one, the largest piece of opal was the Olympic Australis, 3.5 kilos, 3.5 million.
Oh.
So you're getting you now? No, don't.
Sign up.
Yeah, where do you sign up? All right, follow me. The explosives here. All right, so I talk about the scorpion, but look, see how much they glow? I brought it from home.
Oh my God.
Not being weird or anything. I don't usually collect dead bugs. The fertiliser, diesel, newspaper, you just roll them up. What do you think? Got some nitropil at home. It's just next to the chook food. Yeah, so what Dad, no, don't get it. Yeah, what Dad would do, you can see, because I haven't set off explosives, but like you can see a fault line here. Maybe you want to see if there's anything behind, maybe put some auger holes underneath, put your shots in. Reckon it's like a T shape. Once you set it off, roughly you got about 3 minutes to head out before it goes off. Or you're hiding 24 metres out the back there. When they go off, it should drop underneath there. If there was material, yeah, could get to it. But obviously they're not too strong where it's going to collapse the mine. But there has been dangers, has been deaths. Don't take out too many pillars. Yeah, last year 2 tonne of dirt fell on a miner. Yeah, and also another miner, his winch was dodgy, you know, so he fell down the shaft, and mines rescue fish him out, and Royal Flying Doctor has to fly anyone out here, any real emergencies. Yeah. Pretty wild, isn't it? Yeah. Different way. Can't even have babies born here. Non-precious, and then the precious opal here. So I put that on there, even when I rub the black light on there, it even glows for a bit. It's pretty cool how it does that. Yeah, no one will miss out because you'll come past me, alright? But watch this, I'll show you the white light. That's the potch. With black opal, obviously the potch is black as well. Yeah. You get jelly potch, jelly opal, looks like jelly. Everything is what it is. Do you know what Coober Pedy means? It's an Aboriginal term for white man in a hole. Alright, now follow me this way. Yeah, they're like, oh, look at that white man in a hole over there. Coober Pedy. There we go. And there's the good stuff. So you grab anything that glows if you're noodling, and then you sort through the next day in the sunlight or whatever, and then see what you got. Yes, and then it goes to your potch again. Yeah. So there you go. Whole fold going. Right, you see it glow? Stop! Don't do that. Hey!
It's not that hard. It's not that you in there. As you've just seen, we have had the most awesome late afternoon exploring Coober Pedy, and with the incredible Zoe, our tour guide for the museum tour. How fantastic was she? And then we finished in the underground bar with a couple of drinks and a nice game of pool, and arrived back to see this magnificence at our campground, which we're staying at the Hutchinson's Memorial Free Campground, which is 13 kilometres past Coober Pedy. And there are a few camps that have vans and campers that have dotted in for the evening since we left our van here this afternoon. And as you can see, there is an enormous expanse of area and plenty ample to spread around in. So this is just magical, and we're looking forward to experiencing more of what Coober Pedy's got to offer tomorrow. So stay tuned and let's see how it goes.